the time to hear the music of our world, our culture, our artistry. Opening night. Opening night. Opening night. Opening night. Now is the time for us to come around to the place that we ought to be. Everybody, please come on. Now is the time to hear the music of our world.
Good evening, and welcome once again to opening night. Tonight we're going to take an international journey with two of our elite, our artistic elite. We have with us the wonderful, now returned from Europe after too many years away from America, Mr. Lonnie Satton. And of course we have a return visit from that fabulous international artist, Miss Robbi Robinson. So sit back, relax, and resign yourself to a moving, wonderful evening on opening night. John Reddick, it's a pleasure to see you. And the fabulous Chiquita Jackson, hello, who's sitting with Robbi. But let us find out, Chiquita and John, who Mr. Lonnie Satton is. But I know all of those who remember Mr. Satton. Those ladies are out there now. They have pulled the sofas all the way up to the screen. So let us recall Lonnie Satton.
Well, so many of you will probably remember him as Papa Starlight in Starlight Express.
Yeah, and he originally...
Before rollerblades were really big, he was wheeling it around that theater. A very enjoyable performer in Broadway Express. What's the Broadway? Starlight Express was the play, but he did a show called Broadway Express briefly in New York. He also was in Golden Boy, and when I first saw him, he reminded me very much of Billy Daniels, and Billy Daniels was the performer he replaced in that show in London, by the way. And he played at the Palladium Theater, the legendary Palladium Theater with Sammy Davis Jr. He also starred in several TV series in England. It was at the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra and the world-renowned Royal Albert Hall, and performed Shakespeare not in the traditional form, but as Othello in Jack Good's rock opera Catch My Soul. Sounds like we should talk a little bit
I think
about
so.
that. He also, in a lot of movies, the BBC featured The March, A Warm December, that was with Sidney Poitier.
That's right.
And also for Love of Ivy, again with Sidney Poitier, and Return of the Pink Panther with Peter Sellers, and Hello Goodbye with the great Michael Crawford, a very talented singer, Michael Crawford. He was also in the West End production of Bubbling Brown Sugar, and as a blind New Orleans jazz trumpeter in a production called Mardi Gras. So welcome.
I'd like to shake your hand on camera, Mr. Satton. And you know what else, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to also get a song from both our guests. We're just going to have a warm, wonderful, cool evening here. Warm and wonderful and cool.
Wonderful voices. We don't want to.
Right, but tonight I think we've decided that we would try to talk about the business, since everyone up here is experienced in this business. And so if this were a call-in kind of show, we would be open for all of your phone calls. Hopefully tonight we will ask the kinds of questions that you may want to know, especially if you are emerging and hope to be at the satellite status of such an artist of this man, Mr. Lonnie Satton, I say it again, and the fabulous Robbi Robinson. Now, before we go further, though, we need to make it known to you that Robbi Robinson, camera, please find the face of this lovely lady. She will be appearing, Robbi is appearing on May, what is the date?
May 19th, Saturday, May 19th.
Cabaret?
Yes, I'll be working my cabaret show at the Triad, which is on 72nd Street in Broadway. One show only, 8:30 show.
And you won't want to miss that because you've heard her before and you know that she's blessed with
Incredible,
one fabulous voice. And Robbi, just share with us briefly how the night will go so lovers and husbands and wives and families can run out and know what kind of evening they're going to have.
Well, I'll remind you that I consider myself not necessarily a jazz singer, but a jazz stylist, which means that I take a song, a standard that most people are familiar with, and I give it my own individual twist. I find that much of the material that I have is Broadway material, which has allowed me to segue my career into cabaret.
And is this your first time doing cabaret?
Well, yes, it is, but live shows primarily are cabaret, but this just allows me to, I have some original material, and it allows a little more intimacy with the audience.
And you've traveled for years with Mr. Nipsey Russell, right?
Yes, I've worked with Nipsey, I would say, the last 8 years I've worked as his opening act, but I've also tried to maintain my musical career here in New York City. So I've always had a trio working in town whenever possible. And
Is this a trio at the cabaret?
yes, piano, bass, and drum is the
Sounds exquisite to me.
aggravation of the band. 'Cause that's what it is.
But that's wonderful. So you're going to be highly entertained, and you're going to hear some of the most romantic music. And
Absolutely, stuff you
songs.
already know with a new twist to it.
And always, that's welcoming. Now, Mr. Satton,
Yes, sir.
your career is expansive. Recordings, had your own ABC television show.
Yes.
Created the role.
The first black artist.
The first black artist. We thought it was Nat King Cole.
Well, no, I'm the first black artist to have a commercially sponsored television
This is
show.
true.
Because the first black artist to have a TV series in this country was the old black magic man, Billy Daniels.
Right.
But they kept him on, I think it was CBS for 6 months, and not one of our white companies would sponsor him. And he was so beautiful, and he was such a picture of grace and charm, and he had to back off. And then a little later, another year, then came Nat Cole. And they kept Nat Cole, I think, on NBC for a year, and still not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. Lonnie Satton, another year or so, came on, but he didn't take any chances. He went with BBD&O, at that time the largest advertising agency in America, and they got Schaefer Beer to sponsor me, and we called our show the Schaefer Circle. And it came on every Saturday night about 8 p.m., and I was accompanied by a very beautiful lady named Leslie Uggam. A name to die for. And then after 1 year with Leslie Uggams, I then came on with, for my second year, I brought the beautiful, oh goodness, she co-starred with me on Broadway in my first Broadway show, Body Beautiful. Oh.
What was your first Broadway show?
Body Beautiful. Idle role, have you? It hasn't changed a bit since then, but yes, Body Beautiful.
Now, did you also did you also perform for Lady Diane and Charles the
Yes, of course. I
performance,
had like 9 or 10 Royal Command performances, and several times for Prince Charles and Princess Di, and I spent many hours with them, and
also for the Pope.
Yes, I had a private audience with the Pope that was arranged by Cardinal Cushing in Boston, because of the Joseph Kennedy Hospital for the Children.
And then you also sang for the March on Washington with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Johnson Publication came out with a booklet called The March.
Right.
After the march with Dr. King, and I had the dream speech. And in one of I think the center page, there's a page with Lonnie Satton and Josh White.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Satton, do you have a most memorable experience?
That would be most difficult.
Yeah.
Sounds like it would be to me too, because you've done. But then at the same time.
Well, aside from opening night.
Right, but he's got.
I mean, listen, this
it.
is the personality of my life.
Now, I'd like to indulge.
Go ahead.
And ask, just open up and let us have some frank conversation.
Yes.
And this way you might get to know who this man is, this lady is, who all of us are. I mean, the business is difficult. It is not easy. Currently, again, the new word is disposable. You get one hit, you're out. But at least you got that. But if you're lucky, you'll come out with money. Most cases you don't. What is the thinking for someone who would really want to be in this business and have no idea about the struggle. Not to say that this is a negative business, this is a positive.
Life is a struggle.
Life
Every
indeed
job
is.
to get to the top
What
of
is
any
the
profession,
key
I
to
think, is work.
longevity?
I would totally agree.
Yeah.
That's a great
What's
way
the
to
key
put
to
it.
longevity?
The key to longevity. I think most people who've survived in this business would find it difficult to say what is the key to longevity. I suppose, and this is my leading, I trust my God mind to take me to it, and it says that if you are true to your authentic self, be yourself, use your talent, trust your talent. Don't try to be somebody else, and don't try to, and follow your highest intuition. And try to be of the greatest service to humanity. And chances are you'll survive.
Do you agree with that?
Well, I find that what works for me, Robbi Robinson, because I've kicked it around in this business for about 20 years, actually, is that you have to think outside of the box. That's why I'm going from jazz to a cabaret artist, because aside from touring with Nipsey, working and maintaining my own local jazz trio, now going into cabaret, because the money is there. That's a whole nother venue of people who have excess money, which is always nice to have. These people like to get dressed up lovely and go out to a nice show. And that's another segment of the population that that's another audience that I would like to, exactly. Now, in the last 12 years, I've developed a mailing list. That is not easy to do.
Okay.
So I've been constantly working on a mailing list. So as many performers know, unfortunately here in New York City, there are many, many clubs that will book you, providing you bring your audience. Interesting, huh?
Yes.
And so if you don't have a following, as it were, then you can't get a booking. So that was something that I started working on about 10, 12 years ago, is a mailing list. So they said, Robbi, can you get 30 people? Yep, I can bring 30 people. And that has given me some flexibility and allowed me to build a name for myself locally. So you really have to be creative. You have to persevere. I'm constantly working, I work harder for myself than anyone. Fortunately, I've now expanded my career to where I have a promoter who does a lot of that kind of thing for me, but I'm always working. I'm working at night, and as I said, I'm doing original material as well. But you have to persevere, and you have to be creative, and you have to, again, think outside of the box.
Go on.
Well, Robbi, yes, I understand, and that's sort of like the details of the matter, except that be creative. But I think that I want to reiterate what I was saying earlier. To survive in this business, believe in the uniqueness of your talent and trust it, and then try to follow your highest intuition as to how you should go with your pursuit of your career.
Where did you start your career out, Mr. Satton?
Well, the quick rundown, I was pastoring a church in Philadelphia called the Faith Tabernacle Baptist Church. At that time, it was the 6th largest Protestant congregation in the world, 10,000 parishioners.
How old were you at that time?
Wait a moment now. Let me answer this question. Let me get this question.
Okay, go to that question.
I was a youth evangelist.
Okay, all right.
And then I won an award at the Academy of Music as the Outstanding Singer of the Year in Philadelphia. And so I took a sabbatical from the church, and I changed my name. I went 3,400 miles away to Los Angeles, changed my name, no longer Reverend Alonzo Staton, it was now Lonnie Satton.
Are you related to the Statons in Philadelphia?
Of course I am. That's right. And yes, and then I got over there when I was out in California. I got with Earl Father Hines, Esquire All Stars. So I was a jazz singer. Now, don't forget, I just won an award as a bel canto, German leader, French art songs singer. And now I'm here with a jazz band the Esquire All-Stars of not Louis, he had just left Louis Armstrong, Earl Father Hines. And so then he brought me came to New York, and then I got with Capitol Records, and I had a pop star thing to the point where I was headlining at the Copacabana. I was doing Ed Sullivan's show about every...
Johnny Carson. Now, how did you meet up with Sammy Davis Jr.?
Sammy Davis Jr.?
Right.
I was doing a series here. I'm the first black artist to be featured in a soap.
Okay, Another World.
Another World.
Right.
Right. I was the chief of detectives of the town. And you know, after
You weren't profiling. You weren't doing racial profiling back then.
No, they give you a 1-year contract.
Okay.
Before the 9 months are up of your 1-year contract, they're supposed to let you know what's going to be the next year. Their 9 years, when 9 months went by, all of the white artists were coming in every time. Oh, Mr. Satton, you know, they've made my part. And Mr. Satton, and they're going to give me loads of much money. And I say, yeah, that's fabulous. 9 months went by, 10 months. They didn't say anything to me. Because I guess they figured, where's this black cat going to go? Ain't nobody else hiring no black people in those soaps. So Sammy Davis Jr. came to me and said, let's go to the Palladium in London and do Golden Boy. He's going to be the boxer. I'm going to be the gangster manager. So I said, got it, man. Shook his hand, went back on Monday, told him, you would have thought it was Hiroshima. What? You're going to leave us? Come in the back. And they went in the back and they showed me this beautiful set. This is your new home. And look here. They went in and pulled out the drawer and said, here's the contract. Your new wife. And you got a baby. And guess who your wife is? I said, who is she going to be? Nikki Grant. I said, I'm staying. No. But I couldn't. I'd given my word to Sammy. So I took off, went to London, Palladium, Golden Boy, and Sammy came on back. I fell in love with London. And so I'm saying to you now, Janavis, don't invite me to dinner. Chiquita, you hear?
Yes, sir.
Because if you invite me to dinner, if I enjoy it, I may stay 6 months. Because I went there for 6 months and stayed 2 years.
Wow.
How many years was that?
You know, everybody don't tell me how many years.
That's amazing.
Over 20.
A lot of artists, especially have left America in the day.
Yeah.
With shows, went to Europe and stayed.
Yes.
I myself did that, but I didn't go with a show. I did pretty much like you did.
Yeah.
A 6-month engagement turned into 8 years.
Right.
But what was your, what was the thing about Europe?
Yeah.
Robbi, we have 10 minutes, we're going to definitely get a song in.
Yeah.
But what was it that...
And you got to get in. I'm going to answer your question, but you
No, get the question. Answer the question. What was it? There's so many
Lobby for your song. Lobby for your song.
What was it that made you stay?
What was it? I tell you very briefly.
Okay, wait. I still have another part to that.
All right.
And why was it so easy to stay and not come back to America?
All right. When I left here, I had taken the one job, since I left the church and went into show business, the one job that I had other than show business was to take a job in Brooklyn, in Bedford-Stuyvesant, I think it was, because they were burning down various parts of cities in this country. And the government asked, they say, black people who've had some success, go back and give some hope to people. So I did that. But in 1968, when I left here, they were burning down various parts of there. And so when I got over there, and it was, I didn't wake up with this black, white, and the dogs and all that stuff going on. And the killing, they were killing, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and then Robbi Kennedy, and then Robbi.
And more than likely, you were very highly appreciated in Europe at the time for your craft.
And they treated me like a human being.
Right.
Not a black man, but a man.
That's wonderful. Well, what we're going to do is, you brought a video. May we just take a few seconds of that while we're watching the video, and then you and Robbi and I will get around the piano.
All right.
And when we come back, we'll do something live for the audience.
But if we don't do something on the WC Handy Gallery in Mount Vernon, that's we do. What are you going to do that?
All right, briefly. We, as you know, we're favorites of the music and the history of the blues, and that to us is the father of the blues, W.C. Handy, whose daughter, granddaughter, and great-granddaughter are our closest and dearest friends. So there in Mount Vernon on May 4th, there will be the new gallery, the new W.C. Handy Gallery will open in Mount Vernon on May 4th, and it will be an all-day affair bringing in Dick Clark and Tony Bennett and Ron Ozzie and Ruby D,
all of the Sidney Poitier,
all from Mount Vernon, and it's
and a special thing of Raising in the Sun, which Ruby D and Ozzie and Sidney were in it. Ooh, okay, we better get to it. Go.
Were you going to say something from your cabaret? No, I'm just gonna.
We're just gonna do something. We're just gonna play around.
Is going to lead, and I shall follow.
Okay.
We're gonna have fun.
Okay.
Are we watching the video now?
Lonnie Satton. Starlight Express, here's your distress. He's there all around. Starlight Express will answer you yes. He's waiting to be found. Only you have the power within you. Just believe in yourself, the sea will part the boy. Stop the rain, turn the tide. You gotta believe you, but use that power within you. Needing to make the world turn around and help you if you draw what is deep
You're nobody till somebody loves you.
Yeah, don't you
No,
forget it.
no, no, you're nobody till somebody cares.
Who you talking about? You ain't talking about me, are you?
You may be king
Yeah.
or possess
What's the matter with these
the
microphones?
world and its gold.
I don't hear nothing. Yeah.
Ah, but gold won't bring you happiness.
Yeah.
When you're growing old,
Yeah.
you know the world.
I know the world.
Still the same.
It ain't gonna never
You're
change.
never gonna change.
You better
it.
believe it. You know what I'm talking about?
Just as sure as the stars shines above. Mr. Satton,
Yeah.
you're nobody. Till
Yeah.
somebody loves you.
Yeah.
So find yourself somebody
Yeah.
to love.
Honey, I said you're nobody.
You're
You listening?
nobody
Till somebody.
till somebody
Somebody loves you, baby.
socks a little love to you.
Oh, you're nobody.
Nobody
till some mother's child cares.
It's nice.
Yeah, you know, you may possess the world, and all of its gold,
But what's the hook?
Yeah, gold won't bring you happiness, baby. When you're growing old, I said the world. Yeah, the world is just the same. You ain't gonna never change it. You know this here. Sure. Somebody. Find yourself somebody to love. Find yourself somebody to
love.
Yes.
We're going to keep this moving.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got 2 minutes. And if you're out there want to join in on this one, get on in here and sing with us. Sometimes,
yes, Lord,
I feel like a motherless child.
God knows that's true.
Sometimes, oh, I feel.
I know you feel
like a motherless child.
Yeah, man, baby, I know.
Oh, sometimes I feel.
I know you feel
like a motherless child. A long way from home. Oh, yeah. A long way. A long way.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
A long way from home. We want to say goodnight to you and tune in again next week. John Reddick, Chiquita Jackson, and myself would like to thank Robbi Robinson and the fabulous Mr. Lonnie Satton. Sing with us, come on.
You did it again, Janabas.
Yeah.
Another rabbit out of the hat.